Oh, hi, Benita. I'm glad to see you. Excellent. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Giovanni Washington, and I am the program manager for Coming to the Table. And this is part of our Year of Liberation series. We had our Touchstones training back in 2025, I think it was October, maybe November. And we had a trauma training in January, and now we're moving on to our circle process training. There will be more in-person trauma trainings coming up, so keep your eyes out for that. Your ears out, your eyes out. Be on the lookout. I also wanted to just drop a couple of upcoming events that are coming up very shortly. The first one is this Sunday. There is a screening of a film called My Omaha, and Link Descendants is putting this on. So I'm going to drop the link to that. All of these things have been in the newsletter and the upcoming events, and weekly emails, the sometimes weekly emails that I send out. And then the second event that I would like to share with you is a celebration of Sharon Morgan's life, which is on April 26th. So that's about 10 days out. Sharon Morgan Celebration of Life. And you can also, you do need to register to attend that. Sharon Morgan's Celebration of Life. There you go. And I know Mista's here. We do have there you go. We have the Freedom Walk 2026 is starting on May 4th. It's like 3 weeks from now, or less than 3 weeks from now. And we have Coming to the Table is very involved in some of what we're calling the community activations. These are weekly events that are happening along the road as the walk is moving from Maryland to Canada. So we have Haverty Grace, which is Harford County. Coming to the Table is hosting an event on, I'm going to say a date and hope it's not wrong. Venetia, Linda, is it May 10th?
You got it.
Great, May 10th. And then Philadelphia's event is still being massaged, but it's probably going to be on May 18th. And then New York,
17th.
oh, sorry. Oh, is it? Okay, May 7th. Don't quote me on that. Philadelphia is happening. And then um, the New York City group, with support from the North Fork Coming to the Table group, are putting on an event on May 25th, in Monday, May 25th, which is Memorial Day, in Harlem at Mother Zion AME. So, Mista, if you want to drop the links to your, oh, well, if Mista or Moira wants to drop the links to those, that'd be fine. So please, if you're in those areas on those dates, please plan to attend and give support. They've been working hard for months and months to bring this together and to support one of our fellow Coming to the Table members, Anthony Cohen. And Tom is also walking. I will be around for the first in person on the ground for the first like week and a half. And we're really excited that it's happening. So I just wanted to share those things with you and just stress that I'm really happy to see you all. The circle process is one of our like focal points, fulcrum points that it's really important for us to continue to have difficult conversations without creating harm, especially in this time when we're in a polarized political season. I mean, when is it not polarized? But it's particularly tedious at the moment, pernicious at the moment. So with that, I will hand it over to Stacy. And I want to make a public thank you to all of our circle keepers who have volunteered to hold space for us later in this session. And here we go.
Welcome, welcome everyone. Let's get started. Of course, when I'm designing things, I need a lot more time than I'm given. So we'll go right into a mindful moment so that we can get grounded and really get present and be in the space. I've asked Hyatt Bain to do that for us. So Hyatt?
Hey everybody. Um, Hold on a second. I want to go to gallery view. Somehow it got shifted.
I spotlighted you.
Yeah, that's okay, but I want to be on gallery view, not staring at my face. So, so I'm Hayat Bain with the Richmond group, and I'm part of the Coming to the Table mindfulness team. And we're taking a hiatus, but we're about to begin to meet and figure out where we want to go next and where you guys want us to go next. Um, so we use the grounding and centering moment at the beginning to just help people who may have just rushed in from work or some personal thing or some crisis or just everyday life or all the stuff that's going on in our world, being mindful about that, and help them to shift into our space in our circle, whether it's virtual um, or in person, um, in the body, and just help everyone get in their body fully, not just in their head, and to be fully present with each other in this very moment. Um, and a lot of times I do kind of a little bit of a meditation. And for the most part, instead of that this time, I chose two readings from a book that's become my favorite book of poetry called Spilling the Light, Meditations on Hope and Resilience. And on my copy, it says that the author is Teresa I. Soto, but I know that they have changed their name, and I can't remember what it is. Julian something. Anyway, I'll look it up and put it in the chat afterward. I just realized I don't have that at my fingertips. All right, so I just invite you to sit completely in your seat and with your feet flat on the floor, hopefully, and you can close your eyes, or you can just like rest your gaze, soften your gaze a little bit, and just pay attention and be aware of your feet and your legs, your torso, the front and the back, your arms, wrists, hands, your neck, just noticing how everything is doing right now. You may have been kind of pushing that in the background during the day today. So it's an invitation to pay more attention. And then as you come to something that's a little tense, just invite it to release a little bit. So you can completely release, but if you're not ready to completely release, the invitation is to just let it loosen a little bit, going into your neck and your head, your jaw, the front and the back of the neck. Taking a couple of deep breaths as you're doing that. So this opening poem is called Time for the Work. I'm not prepared to hear you say one thing and watch you do another without even mentioning it. I'm not talking about mistakes. You know we all make those. Sometimes we speak too soon and think too little. We worry more about procedures than promises. We let fear and guilt keep our choices and actions small. Those things, common and human, keep calling us forward to different, better choices. I'm thinking of a different thing in which you know the right thing to do and spend entire notebooks of calculations on figuring out how not to do it, or conversely, you give it no thought at all. It's understandable that to learn, the student must be ready. And if you choose not to be ready while the world cries out for your help, choose to linger in indecision and shrug off the human cost, you are wasting the gentle flexibility of grace. And as Frederick Douglass said, quote, using your liberty for unholy license, unquote. So I like that, using your liberty for unholy license. You must account for this day. Choose justice. You must account for your gifts. Generate love. Your effort in community is a precious resource. Take courage. Move with urgency toward every possibility. Please hurry. Don't stop. So just consider those words, which I think is an interesting juxtaposition of slow down enough to be fully present, and then please hurry, don't stop. Ashe.
Ashe.
Am I turning this back to Stacy?
Thank you, Hyatt.
You're welcome.
Please send that to me so I can add it to our post-training workshop handout.
I will.
That reference. That would be sweet. Thank you. Why circles and why circles with CTT? Folks have been congregating in circle over millennia in societies across the world forever. And those of us who are part of coming to the table, part of our origin includes looking for ways to build repair, to reconcile the legacy of enslavement, and to find healing. It's part of sort of the restorative justice philosophy. And those folks in the beginning were looking around for ways to be in community with one another, dialogue with one another. And this process of peacemaking became central to those early folks in coming to the table. I was introduced to this peacemaking circle process at a national gathering, 2-day training that was life affirming for me, and it actually caused me to make a pivot with what I prioritized in my life. So our origins have a deep connection with the peacemaking circle, also known as circle practice or circle process. Circles as a way of dialogue support community building, relationship building, and also helps folks embody ways to be with each other that is life affirming, that it's embracing an inclusive mindset, that really gives folks the opportunity to explore, repair, reconciliation, and healing. And so historically, we've relied on, I won't go in that direction. So I'll stop there. Why circle and why CTTT? It's a natural integration. What are the qualities of circles? Just briefly, the fact that you're in a circle, that there are values associated with being together, where there are expectations of deep listening and allowing people to share their stories without interruption, creates this container of equity and lets go of sort of our daily default of hierarchy. Circle really embraces the concept of transformational relationships, where we're moving away from transactions. I'm doing this for you because you're doing Y for me, and more, we're in this together. Let's see where this experience leads us. One aspect of circle process is its origin, specifically around restorative justice here in the US. That origin comes from peacemaking circles in Indigenous communities in Canada. And one of the important principles, or principles is not the right word, important aspects of peacemaking circles and Indigenous culture is its spiritual nature. circle takes on ceremony and has spiritual qualities. It's a sacred space. Coming to the table, we've taken on the task or the commitment to heal from the racial trauma that our ancestors experienced and what we experience today. And it's hard to talk about race. It's hard to talk about racism and all the particular bits and pieces that infuse those spaces. So, peacemaking circles or circle practice is a wonderful um, space to make it easier for folks to have these conversations. It makes it easier for us to be brave in these conversations because grace lives in this space when we get it right. um, so those are some of the qualities of circle. I'm going to turn it over to Gretchen to talk about some of the essential elements that go into putting a circle on.
Thank you, Stacy. Did you say they were magic?
So I'm going to
No,
let
you left that for me. I truly believe that circles are magic, especially when we do them right. What makes up a circle is, first of all, the centerpiece. The centerpiece is important because it gives participants who may be a little stressed a place to look other than at other participants. In addition, we have the touchstones, which we will be talking about in depth. And in the circles we do for coming to the table and other things in the Center for Spiritual Awareness in West Sacramento, we add a values round to our circles. The thing about the centerpiece is that if you're meeting in person, you can have the people who are with you in the circle bring something that is personal for them. Stacy and I in the past have always brought pictures of our dogs to our circles because somehow dogs are calming. What else am I forgetting? What am I forgetting, Stacy?
the circle itself.
Well, yeah, but that's what we're talking about. A circle itself. Yes, we have a circle and we have a talking piece when we're live and in person. When we're on a circle over Zoom, the voice is the talking piece. And so when I'm through, I'm going to say to Stacy, I'm complete. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, Gretchen. I'm going to add one more thing
Okay.
in terms of essential elements and the circle itself, right? Many of you who've kept circle know that people will come into a space and try to avoid getting in that circle and pull up a chair on the other side of the room. And it's like, nope. We are actually going to gather together and we're going to be in this circle. Why does someone pull off to the side? Because the circle is vulnerable, it's intimate. We can all see each other. We can see our faces, see expressions. All that nonverbal communication is just diffusing, it's just spilling out of ourselves. It's a very vulnerable place to be. Being in that circle, represents that lots of different things for different people, but it can represent equality, equity, infinity, togetherness, connection, lots of different metaphorical and metaphysical symbolism comes with the circle. But from a practical place, when you're gathering in a circle, there's no one at the front of the room who's quote unquote in charge. There aren't rows of people in front of you, and the only thing that you can see is the back of their heads. but you've decided to come into this space where everyone can see each other. Theoretically, everyone can hear each other. And there's this real sweet sense of being there together. Yeah, so let's move into the opening ceremony. So those are the way that I think of essential ingredients. What you need for circle is the circle itself, your talking piece that represents whose turn it is to talk. Thank you, Kelly. Whose turn it is to talk, and then the centerpiece, that place that can build community as well as is a safe space to gaze your eyes. Think of circle practice as having three main parts. The opening ceremony, which includes tradition and activities that bring us closer together. And then there's the center part, which is the discussion, the actual dialogue. And then we end with a closing ceremony. For the opening ceremony, the first thing we want to talk about is the agreements. What are the agreements that we've chosen to keep to be in this space? And coming to the table has their agreements so we want to review those agreements with each other, and why don't we do it now? And I'm going to let Kelly lead us with our agreements, our touchstones. Giovanni, can you bring those up on the shared screen?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I'm just going to call names and I'll say, and if you want to pass, just let me know. Feel free to pass. And I'll say that the person who's up next also. Sheila, would you read one? And then Alyssa, will you read the next one?
I don't have my glasses,
Okay.
so
And
I need to.
was that Sheila or Alyssa?
Yes, this is Sheila.
Beautiful. Thank you. Alyssa, will you read the first one?
Yes. Be 100% present, extending and presuming welcome.
Thank you.
Kelly, can I interrupt just a second? Yes,
Please.
thank you, Giovanni. Can you open them up and read the entire touchstone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Be 100% present, extending and presuming welcome. Set aside the usual distractions of things undone, things to do. Bring all of yourself to the experience. We all learn most effectively in welcoming spaces. Welcome others here and presume that you are welcomed.
Thank you, Alyssa. Can we have Eddie and then Chairman?
It's probably Edie. Is
Okay,
that,
thank you.
and the next one is try it on. Is that correct?
Yes.
Make an opening for new ideas by trying them on for size. Give yourself the time to get to know them, to consider how they fit you. And so do you want to expand that, or is it expandable?
That's been expanded. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Chairman and then Elaine. Okay, Elaine and then Thornell. Okay.
It's too small for me to see.
Thank you, Giovanni.
Okay. Which one to start with? Speak your truth or no fixing?
No fixing.
Okay, no fixing. Each of us is here to discover our own truths. We are not here to set someone else straight or to help right another's wrong, to fix or correct what we perceive as broken or incorrect in another member of the group. Speak your truth. Say what it is, your heart, trusting that your voice will be heard and your contribution respected, even if it is different from or even opposite of what another has said. Own your truth by speaking only for yourself using I statements.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thornell and then Chris. Okay. Chris and then Ona.
Kelly, I think Thornell
Open.
is just on mute.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I can't see anything other
Yeah,
than
no, I got
the
you.
words.
He's off mute now.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Thornell.
Speak your truth. Say what's in your heart, trusting that your voice will be heard and your contribution respected, even if it's different from or even opposite of what another has said. Own your truth by speaking only for yourself, using I statements. Whenever possible,
Oh no, that's a different one.
acknowledge uncomfortable responses. Say ouch or whoops, then explain.
Okay, no.
Let others know when you're responding with pain to remarks in the group, either from others, ouch, or yourself, whoops, especially when your feelings are impeding your ability to stay connected to others. Help them understand the reason for your reaction.
Thank
Next.
you. Chris, can you do maintain confidentiality followed by Karina?
Maintain confidentiality. Create a safe space by respecting the confidential nature and content of discussions in the circle. What is said in the circle remains here.
When
Thank you.
things get difficult, turn to wonder. Try both and rather than either or. When someone else's truth challenges your own, try turning to wonder. I wonder what brought them to this place. I wonder what my reaction teaches me. Also, allow for the possibility of multiple experiences and perspectives. Let both and create a larger shared space.
Thank you so much. Pam, followed by Renee. So Pam, listen deeply.
Listen deeply. Listen intently to what is said. Listen to the feelings beneath the words. To listen another's soul into life, into a condition of disclosure and discovery may be almost the greatest service that any human being has ever performed for another. From Douglas Steere. Listen to yourself also. Strive to achieve a balance between listening and reflecting, speaking and acting.
Thank you. Renee, followed by Cheryl.
Always by invitation. You may be invited to share in pairs, small groups, and or in the large group. The invitation is exactly that. You will determine the extent to which you want to participate in our discussions or activities.
Thank you. Cheryl, followed by Karen.
Identify assumptions, suspend judgments. Our assumptions, although usually invisible to us, often undergird our worldview, our judgments, frequently automatic, can block our growth. By pausing to identify assumptions and suspend judgments to the degree possible or reasonable, we can listen to the other and to ourselves more fully.
Thank you. Karen, followed by Chris. Oops, I'm sorry. Karen, followed by Linda. Sorry.
Okay. Be aware of and allow for the difference between intention and impact. Give yourself and others the grace of assuming that no one present intends to harm others, while also being ready to acknowledge that words or behavior actions, nonverbal communication can have a harmful impact.
Thank you. Linda,
Respect,
go ahead.
respect silence. Silence is a rare gift. After someone has spoken, take time to reflect and fully listen without immediately filling the space with words.
Thank you. Valencia, and then Barbara.
Respect difference. Recognize that different cultures have different norms for speaking in groups, such as interrupting or degrees of assertiveness. There may be differences regarding power dynamics. Overemphasis on norms of politeness and safety, for example, can be an unconscious way to reinforce white fragility and prevent expressions of anger.
And then Barbara. Thank you.
Expect non-closure. Stay in the present. We probably won't get to the end of the road today.
Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Kelly. There's a echo.
Yeah. If you all can just mute yourselves. Actually, I can mute you. Okay.
Sometimes it happens if someone has their iPhone on, it acts as an ancillary microphone, and you actually have to turn it off. I found that with Zoom sometimes.
Thank you.
Seems to be gone.
Okay.
So we just did the touchstones that are our agreements, and the only thing that I would add about the touchstones, my personal experience with them, is that they've become part of who I am as I move through the world, embodying many of those beliefs and then skills to allow for more transformational relationships in my life. So I really appreciate the agreements that coming to the table came put together. The next thing that's part of the ceremony is the concept of acknowledgements. And in our West Sacramento Circle, we have chosen to acknowledge the very first wound of this country, which is the colonization and genocide of Native American indigenous peoples. So we do an acknowledgement for those folks from the past and in the present. We also spend time doing an acknowledgement for those folks who were formerly free and brought to this country and were enslaved in a system of chattel slavery, meaning their offspring became enslaved, and for 7 generations. So we do an acknowledgement of that that legacy. Something new that I'm trying on is an acknowledgement for coalitions, acknowledging the coalitions that have worked towards repair, reconciliation, and healing in the major movements of this country. So Gretchen and I are going to proceed with our acknowledgements. Gretchen?
Yes, I'm going to start with the land acknowledgement. I live in Sacramento at the confluence of the American River and the Sacramento River. In times past, this has been a very important place for the Nisenan, the Miwok, the Maidu, the Patwin people, all of whom came there to trade, to talk, to make community. Until, of course, the gold rush and a lot of other folks showed up and started the California genocide, which is actually the largest genocide in the United States. It's important to remember these people because they were stewards of the land and many who are still here are still stewards of the land. In addition, I do a labor acknowledgement. I acknowledge that people were stolen from Africa, brought here, and enslaved, as Stacy pointed out, for 7 generations. And that's not even counting Jim Crow. It's also important to acknowledge the other people who came here, such as the Chinese, who were abused and oppressed and improperly paid, or perhaps the Braceros, who came from south of the border to pick our crops, and then were either sent home or, when they were here, were kept in substandard housing and poorly paid. America is a land of many immigrants, and many of the immigrants who came have been abused. Stacy, would you like to continue with the other piece?
The other acknowledgement I like to bring up is acknowledging collaboration, co-conspiratorship, allyship, that every major movement in this country for justice has involved a collaboration of human beings who have the same desire for human justice. In particular, I love Bettina Love and her description of abolition and the kind of trust that folks had to have, recognizing if they were caught supporting the Underground Railroad, that they could lose their lives, their livelihood. And at that time, they didn't have social media, cell phones. Many of the relationships were totally built on trust. And I recognize that the success of the Underground Railroad was done with a collaboration of people who put their lives on the line. And that's my acknowledgement for the kind of work that we can do together. Normally at this time we would do a values round together, but because of the size of the group, I'm going to ask that we do that values round when we're in our breakout rooms. The purpose of the values round is to remind us of our shared values. And another activity that highlights our connection. And so I think it's time to move into our circle, into our breakout rooms. I'm going to ask Gretchen, is there anything else that you would like to say before we move into those breakout rooms?
No, let's get to the magic.
Let's get to the magic. Okay.
Oh, you all keep vamping for a couple of minutes while I set up the breakout rooms.
Okay. Well, are there any questions about the opening ceremony? Well,
Sorry,
Giovanni is
I have a
working on it.
question. This is Renee.
Hi,
Can
Renee.
you give an example of a value round? I haven't heard that term.
Ooh, so basically well, I'd like to give a nod to Chuck. Where's Chuck? Chuck from Atlanta. I was invited to do a circle at an international film festival after a film that was a documentary that was being showed about baseball in the 50s and segregation. And I had just met Chuck at a national gathering. We'd done a training together. I called him up. I said, Chuck, I've been asked to do this. I want someone like yourself to partner me with me. And he said, absolutely, let's do it. I had never done a values round up to that point. And during that circle, we did a values round. And it was lovely. So what happens with a values round is when you're in person, you can literally make this come alive by writing your value on a piece of paper and adding it to the centerpiece. And you just go around the circle like you would with a prompt or a question, and everyone answers the question. What value do you bring to this circle today? And if you have time, the follow-up is, and why are you bringing that value? And then folks have an opportunity to share that. And then the beautiful part when you're together is then you put that on a piece of paper and add it to the centerpiece. So it adds to that community and that community connection. Chuck, do you have anything else to add to that? Since I called you in.
Yeah, excuse me. Thanks, Stacy. It's a real anchoring for the members of the circle, and it's a way for each of us to state in the community what quality or what value we want to embody, what quality or value we want to hold while we're together in the circle in order to facilitate everyone's feeling courageous, brave, maybe safe, maybe not, but definitely courageous. And it just facilitates people feeling more confident that they will be respected and listened to when they speak. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you, Chuck.
Can I add something? May I add something?
Absolutely.
I do a lot of circles on Zoom, and when I'm setting up the circle order, I let people introduce themselves, and then I ask for the value, and then I attach the value to the name in the circle. So for example, I'm Gretchen. My value today and every day is love, because Martin Luther King taught us that hate will not drive out hate, only love can do that. So love and my name go into the circle, and then I call on the next person and they get to say their little spiel. Thank you.
Thank you, Gretchen.
Stacy, did you want to pin the centerpiece?
Yes, I think that's been a subtle hint. Before we get into our circles, let's talk a little bit about the centerpiece. Thank you, Libby.
Oh, it wasn't a hint. I thought we just didn't have time. Did you want me to talk about the elements?
No, what I'd like you to do is, we talked about the centerpiece, but will you share your centerpiece, just what you've chosen to bring to your center?
Yeah, do you want to spotlight it so everyone can
Yeah.
see? And I'm having technical issues. I can't get it to take up the whole screen, but just briefly, I go by the classical directions and elements. So really it's from my Irish and Scottish heritage, but it's also from Indigenous culture. The purpose is that it's anchoring the sacred space to nature. It's to ground us all, raise the energy within the circle, and help us with focus and connection. And I usually do this in person, but Stacy, let me know, we can just have it on video and then pin it. So I'm not in the same room as it, so I can't show you each piece, but there's feathers for my chickens, which are facing east, which represent air, wisdom, clarity. Then there's salt facing north, which is the earth, which has to do with grounding and patience and purifying. There's candle, which is south, and fire, which has to do with transformation of emotional and spiritual burdens. Then there's water in a stone bowl, and that's facing west, and water represents emotional release. And the stone bowl is strength to hold us together in community. I normally have chimes in the middle, but that is a bell from my cat's collar because I could not find my chimes. So that's just the center of the piece, of the centerpiece, to clear the space. And then I have selenite, which represents clarity and honesty, self-reflection. And then there are some nature pieces from my property to give us further connection to the earth, stability, grounding, and to help bring any chaotic energy back into balance. And anybody can use anything they want that's meaningful for them in their circle. And as Stacy said, when you're in person, you can write things and do pictures and all of that. So there we go.
Thank you so much, Libby.
So,
Are we ready?
we are ready. I want to say that, okay, great, you got it. We have more circle keepers than we need. So some of the groups have 2 circle keepers. That it just means that you will have expertly held circles. Do you want to, how long do they have, Stacy?
Let's see, let me check the time. It's 4:47. So we're just off by a little bit. I would say
We're not off. We're right on time.
okay, we're right on time. We have, how many people do you have in a group, Giovanni?
4 or 5.
So let's say 45 minutes.
Sounds great. That gives time for some
Some
reflection.
Closing and reflection, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and I guess you all can work out, the circle keepers can work out amongst themselves who is going to lead. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to open them up. There you go. You've all been invited to join the breakout rooms. Oh, someone's note taker is here. I'm going to kick them out. Are you talking to us, Valencia? Because we can't hear you. Oh no, she's frozen. Okay. It's so weird. How do I kick someone out?
And then I don't know what, I can't find my room.
Oh, I didn't put you in a room. Do you want to go to a room?
I can,
There's a couple of rooms with 4 people.
well, tell me, help me know why you didn't stick me in one.
It was an accident. They said,
Okay.
you want to put your co-hosts in the room, and I just said no because I
Okay.
don't know. I mean, I didn't go to a room either.
Okay,
And I'm
just
not-
give me a room, or should I
All
just
right.
join one?
I think I
with
have
4.
to, let me see, join. Actually, you can, if you open the, can you open the breakout rooms?
Yes, I can see them.
Just join a room.
Okay.
Maybe one that only has 1 circle keeper, not 2 circle keepers.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Valencia's back. Hi,
Hi,
Valencia.
I'm back. Hi, the note taker is in my group.
Yeah,
Could you kick them out or?
yes, I can. I'm going to come over there right now.
Okay, wait, let me go back. Can you put me back in the, put
Oh,
me
you
back
can't
in
put
the room?
yourself back?
I don't, no, because I'm not a host.
I'm just gonna make you a co-host because I don't see how to put you back in there. Wait. What is your name? What room were you in?
Oh, I think I was in group 2. It's with Daryl's note taker.
Yeah. No, I saw the note taker. I was not happy about that. There we go. Okay, 2.
I think that's the one, right? With Lee?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Move
okay.
to, I can't move you back to, okay. I'm just gonna make you a co-host and you can put yourself in the room.
Yeah, do that.
There you go. You are confirmed as a co-host.
Okay.
Don't be acting up while as co-host.
Oh, now you got me the keys. You can't undo it.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay.
I'm gonna join room 2.
If I can get there. Was it gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay. All right. I'll go over there. Bye.
Cool. And I'm going to pause the recording. Pausing. Welcome back.
Everybody's coming in.
Gretchen, I forgot who's leading us out. Who's
I'm up with drop something in the chat, and then somebody's going to do some kind of closing meditation, and then you've got a quote or a reading or something. It doesn't say.
Okay.
Okay.
The processing of the breakouts.
Are we all back? I don't know. Are we?
Are we all
Raise
back?
your hand.
Yeah.
If you-
Yes.
If
Okay.
you're not here, please raise your hand.
Oh, well, welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone had as sweet of a time as we had in our circle. And Gretchen always reminds me that we've just experienced magic, and that's how I felt in the circle that I participated in. I believe we do have some time to hear a little, hear from a few circles. Maybe one or two of the circle keepers could share nothing nothing personal because our stories are confidential, but any theme, idea, concept, aha moment that you'd like to share with the larger group. And I'm asking the circle keeper to maybe do a little.
Kelly just scratched her head. Isn't that volunteering?
I think so.
Okay, let's go. The conversation that we just wrapped up was talking about how, like, with the political situation right now, how we can all feel like an urge to take action, and even if we're not necessarily knowing what that is, and also weighing, like, balancing that with the value of circles and sharing our ideas and our perspectives and our different life experiences, and how that can and I'll quote without giving a name, somebody said that dialogue that like this can be harder than protests, than protesting.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Kelly. And I can also say, if you look at movements that we've seen when there is no relationship building or coalition building, there's no foundation. Anyone else? She's been wanting to be part of this group for the last hour and a half. How about you, Gretchen? Oh, wait, Lee, we'll take Lee and then Gretchen.
Yes. Valencia, we had two circle keepers, and Valencia from Pasadena ended up being our circle keeper, which is wonderful for me because she modeled a new and interesting way of approaching the circle that I'd like to bring to my own circle. But part of that was that we, of course, did our values round, and then we each had an opportunity to tell the story of our earliest memory of race and racism. And then what we had after that was then an opportunity for dialogue, which usually in circle we don't have, is that because there were just three of us, because one of our members needed to leave early. So then there was an opportunity to then, it wasn't feedback exactly, but to talk about what had come up for us if we wanted to, based on the storytelling or the shares from other members of our circle. And that usually isn't part of our of the way we do circle, and that was actually very, very helpful. And in the end, after we talked about, what we were doing in terms of repair and restoration and healing, then Valencia said, "Were there any oops or ouches that came up for any of you, any of us?" And although now that's incorporated in our chapter finally as part of our touchstones, to have that as part of an integral part of Circle, I found very, very helpful. And so it was wonderful. And I think I'm speaking for all three of us. So that's my share. And I see Chris is nodding. So yeah, I hope I represented our group well. And I'm complete.
Thank you, Lee. I want to make two comments with that, and that is when you get to that level of holding space, it's easier to do jazz, right? It's easier. What I'm trying to say is you can move once you know the jazz standards, then improvisation makes beautiful music. Right?
Yes.
So I love the fact that you were a small group. Obviously, there was a lot of experience in the space. And so you're allowed to kind of move outside. I don't even want to say the rules because there are no rules, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
It creates more space. And I would invite everyone to really, if you're new to Circle, to embrace some of the basics. Learn some of the chords. And I absolutely love what Valencia did with saying, asking that question, were there any oops? Were there any whoops? Because those of us who've been in this space know how difficult it is to name that in a space. So thank you so much for sharing. And then I think Brenda had her hand up, so I'm going to go with Brenda.
Okay, thank you. We had a wonderful circle. It was a slippery slope because of the questions, you know. And it was a sacred container. And that felt really good to be able to hold the space for others, but also to come to a place where you know someone's holding the space for you. And so, even with all of the emotions that we went through, it was healing. It was healing. It was powerful. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Well, let's all take a deep breath. Just a deep breath, soak all that in, sink into your chair, relax a little bit. We're going to move into talking a little bit about the closing ceremony now, and I have to be honest, I can't remember if I gave Gretchen that responsibility or if it's mine. What does that mean? Finger down. Yours. Okay.
That's what it means.
Okay. Go, girl.
No, yours. That yours.
You're so cute. Okay. Closing ceremony. This is kind of when, depending on who you're with, what the circumstances are, what your goals were for the day, it kind of shapes how you want to leave, and it's as variable as it can be. The one thing that I would say it's so important is to have a closing ceremony because you're getting ready to leave this special space, this sacred space, and move back into, it's time to cook dinner now. So having that discrete separation is very uplifting. One of the things that we do in West Sacramento is just check in with everyone in the group. It's a much smaller group than this, but we just check in. How are you leaving the circle tonight? And so right now, I would invite everyone, if you feel comfortable and if you'd like to just take a moment to share in the chat how you're leaving the circle this evening. And we'll take a minute for that. And would anybody like to read from the chat? Because I heard my voice sounds like PBS commentator for kids. Nobody?
I'm happy to do it, Stacy.
Oh, thank you.
A beloved commentator.
Are you talking about Stacy or me?
No, Stacy was, it's not that your voice sounded like it. It was saying the person's name and where they're from. It was that part.
Okay.
Like the romper room lady. That's all.
I'm giving
called me
people
the
more time
romper
to put things in the chat. So we're seeing energized, calm, grateful, gratitude. So lots of gratitude, satisfied, more gratitude. Mista is happy to have met and shared. Hopeful, grateful, curious, grounded and regulated, empowered, beloved, peaceful, connected through stories, enlivened, safety, unburdened, more gratitude and grateful, hopeful, inspired. Sheila, if you want to finish your thought, I'm happy to read it out loud. It looks like maybe you hit enter too soon. Grateful, leaving informed and having enjoyed the circle. Open, stronger, exercised, more grateful, connected, happy to have a chance to share and listen to each other, excited, challenged and energized, more hopeful, more gratitude, a new perspective, excited, confirmation that circles are magic, filled with love, and grateful that people are willing to do the work. Open-hearted, connected, grateful seeing so many beloved faces in the space and honored to meet new people. Filled and happy to know the process works for everybody to some extent and revealing the strength of all of us. I think that completes the shares in the chat.
Thank you, everyone. Let's hear from Hyatt again with a meditation, breathing. I don't know what she has planned, but whatever you have planned works for me. And then after she's done, we'll end with a quote. And after the quote, we'll get into our Q&A.
I just have another poem from the same author that I really love, and I adapted it slightly for coming to the table. So I just invite you to keep listening. You've been practicing listening, and just have an open mind and hopefully feel inspired by this. There's a moment before dawn when the light is firmly in charge of the sky. There's no arguing with the opacity that holds both a fertile imagination and cover of destruction. Just hold on. There is the moment when the dream we share is newly born, wet and wriggling in our hands. Sometimes it's true that salvific futures look vulnerable and small before us. We remain unsure. Just hold on. Anything good was small at first. You know that Dr. King said, "I have a dream." It definitely was not the "I have a reality" speech. It was real in a different way that could be felt, that could be shared. They held on. That dreaming speech happened in August of 1963. And you know what came before was April, a letter from a Birmingham jail. One moment did inform the other, but the future being built could not be known with certitude. They held on. We gather, members of coming to the table, certain only of our power to be human, finding ourselves committed to keeping our word, and being our vision and our touchstones. And when we fail to keep our promises, we don't throw them away, labeled as impossible. We take up our courage. We begin again. We hold on. Sprinkled in the wind, we can hear the question. If we are not white supremacy shaped into, I can't read my writing. Okay. If we are not white supremacy shaped into particular rules and rituals, then who are we? We are present both in attention and in the answer. We are here. We hold on. We contain multitudes, not just of questions and contradictions, but also of possibilities. We continue to labor for the creation of community in which all of us, not just each of us, but every part of us is welcome at our table, in our home of truth, connection, and healing. We hold on. And then just take a breath deep into the belly. And let that settle into your mind and your body. And we hold on in support of each other while we're holding on to the dream and the vision and our beautiful wisdom of the touchstones. May we continue to hold on with joy and peace and kinship. May it be so, Ashe.
Ashe.
Thank you, Hyatt. Oh, thank you everyone for saying yes and showing up. Special thanks to Dr. Giovanni for all of her love and care. All the circle keepers who said yes. And all of you who came and hopefully learned something. I'm going to rephrase that. All of you, and I hope you felt something. And with that, I'm going to declare the circle has ended. And we have a little less than 10 minutes. We've about 8 minutes. But for questions. Any questions that are burning for folks? They just need answered, need clarification, comments.
Is there an event calendar, a circle event calendar? Is there an event calendar that lists other circles that and when they occur?
Do you mean coming to the table circles or just circles?
Coming to the table circles.
Yes, on our website, there is a calendar that lists all of the circles that the local groups are holding. I will pull up the link for you and put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Karen?
I had a question about doing this work. I'm so new to it, but in my area, there is no group. And I would love to look into the possibility of establishing a group in the Wake Forest, Raleigh, North Carolina area. So how do I do that? How do I find out more about learning how to do that? And yeah, making that a reality.
Well, I'm directing that question to Dr. Giovanni.
To me, there is We'll hop on a call. I'll drop the link to my calendar. You can just book a call. If none of those times work for you, you can email me and we'll find a time. There is a link, I have to find it somewhere on our website that tells you how to start how you can start a group, but we can certainly talk about it. And then I also would recommend, I don't know how many groups you've been to, but going to a variety of groups. We have at least a dozen groups that they meet virtually and they welcome people from anywhere. And we also have our national virtual affiliate group that meets, I don't know where they meet. I don't remember the date, but it's in the calendar. But Chuck and Kelly are here from Atlanta and they welcome people from anywhere. Linda is here. Linda and Thornell are here from Annapolis and they welcome people. And I saw Libby and Marion and Valencia are here from Pasadena and they also welcome people. So I'll put the link in the chat here, but there is a link where it actually clearly states, but most of our groups welcome people from anywhere, but we have a dozen or so that have explicitly stated that they're welcome. You're welcome from anywhere. So
I'm
I would
not sure whether Northern Virginia is on the list, but we're mostly Zoom and would be happy to have people from anywhere and have a few scattered people.
Let me see. I can see if I can put it here.
And Oakland does too. We would love to have.
There's no shortage.
Sacramento does too.
There's no shortage of groups for you to go visit and get a sense of how every group has its own personality. I'm going to actually link the lists here. I think I can do it. Okay. Does that answer your question, Karen? And I will also drop in my calendar and anyone can make an appointment. I'm always about anything, Okay.
Yes, thank you.
There's a list of groups that have explicitly stated. And then I will also put the link to the actual page where all that is on. Okay, thanks. I'm complete.
I'm thrilled for you, Karen. You're about to have some magical experiences.
And you have lots of support. So don't worry, be happy.
And there are monthly leaders meetings.
Yes, our monthly group leaders meeting are they're always on the fourth. They're mostly on the fourth Tuesday of the month, and we meet probably 10 months out of the year. But Karen, you and I will hop on a call first, and because we're going to need to find you some other leaders, co-leaders to do this with. We don't want you doing it by yourself.
Terrific. Thank you.
If there are no other questions, I also have a quote I'd like to leave with everyone for the night. And it's specifically around, I have a quote I want to leave for you tonight. It's by L.R. Nost, and she writes, "Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, and unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you." And that's L.R. Nost. Love y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, and thank you.
Thanks. There's going to be a follow-up handout with resources.
Please put that last quote on there, please.
I will.
All right.
Good. Thank you. Iris, where are your Washingtons from?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Hyatt. Thank you, Hyatt.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Kelly, Brenda,